Welcome to another crowd, Wall Street entrepreneurs. Number three, number three. We making progress. Go ahead and share this video, share this live. You in for a good one tonight. Invite your friends, family, your aunties, your uncles. Invite them all. Give you a few more minutes, getting people chimed in. A few more minutes. What's going on, Mamarazzi? If you're seeing this from YouTube or you're seeing this from Facebook, make sure you join our Facebook group, Crowd Wall Street. We're going to get started in one more minute. All right, so welcome. I am TL Williams, Tavares Williams, whatever makes you feel comfortable. One of the founders at Crowd Wall Street. And pretty much what we've been doing for the past couple of weeks is interviewing entrepreneurs and investors every Wednesday just to talk about their journey. A lot of times, when we hear about successful entrepreneurs or successful business owners or successful investors, we always see the fruits of their labor, but we don't see the beginning stages where they had to dig the dirt, they had to plant the seeds. A lot of that stuff is not really talked about. For the most part, many people don't want to hear it because it can be kind of discouraging, but understand it's part of the process. So that's the main reason why I started this podcast, so everybody can get a better idea and a clear understanding on this pursuit of entrepreneurship. And, you're going to be hearing from different entrepreneurs every week. They all have a story. They all have a background. They all have an obstacle that they had to face to become who they became. So today we have Mr. Darrell Finley, who has multiple businesses, is also a real estate investor. And today we're gonna hear about the backstory of Mr. Darrell Finley, like what brought him here today as an investor and as an entrepreneur. Mr. Darrell.
Big T, what's up, man?
What's going on, bro?
Man, you done got real fancy, man. It's all type of
trying to do a little, trying to get a little, put a little step in my little pep in my step.
Nah, you doing it. How you been?
All is well, bro. All is well.
Proud,
man. Huh? Yeah, man. So, pretty much this ain't nothing new to me or you. We've been doing this for quite some time now. So, I know as far as when we linked up in the past, we was more so speaking about education, and we was big on educating people on different aspects of business credit, right. Real estate.
Right.
But people don't understand, in most cases, don't understand the journey and the process. So, I'm sure individuals like myself, we see you making moves when it comes to real estate, running your business and still being a family man at the same time. And a lot of times people don't see what goes on behind the scenes in an entrepreneur's life. So I just want to kind of open that box up so people can have a clear understanding and not be misled by social media and thinking, I see, Darrell flipping homes. I'm gonna start tomorrow. I'm gonna be successful. And it's not like that. You may wake up tomorrow because you may have that family member or that rich uncle that's able to put you in the game. But for most cases, a lot of us have to get it off the muscle. So I pretty much want to share that with the people, man. So briefly, tell the people your background, man. Start off explaining what you do.
So remember when me and you first linked up? Tavares and I, we went to the same high school, but we didn't. I can't recall us crossing paths. We know a lot of the same people. You just posted Like you got family that I know I ain't even know. Like I ain't know Blade was your cousin
Yep.
until you posted it the other day, right?
Yep.
So I link up with Tavares because I somehow, some way, we're friends on Facebook. I hear he talking about business credit, and I just jump in his inbox because I was just excited that I wasn't the only one
Only
standing
one.
out on this island. You understand what I'm saying? And when I linked up with you, I was working overnight. I was working if you remember, I was working City of Miami Beach.
Yep.
Um, that job, I remember that job. You started out at 1893. I remember that because I used to always say, "Boy, 1893, no college degree." I felt like that was, that I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but to go to work and to make nearly 20 an hour, I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. But I got to a certain point where it was just like, hey, it wouldn't be good for me to work the next 30 years for nobody
Right.
because what I thought to myself was I just would be super upset with myself to devote 30 years of my life. What a real turning point was, they gave us all in the department, they gave us like this pink piece of paper. I thought it was a pink slip, get up out of there. And the paper said, I still got it somewhere. The paper said, hey, if you work for us for the next 30 years, this will be your monthly benefit. Dude, it was like $2,600. I kid you not. I'm like, nah, that's not gonna work. So um first thing I want people to know, especially people that's looking to be an entrepreneur, a lot of us, we have consistent bills, right? Consistent bills requires consistent money. Make no doubt about it. Don't put your family in the poorhouse because you talking about you finna go start this business. You understand? We got to have a strategy in place. So for myself, I knew that every other week or every month, this is the number I came home with. So before I went full time into entrepreneurship, I made sure that that money was supplemented. I made sure that the money that I will be leaving at from the job, that was already supplemented, and I made sure that I did that process a number of times before I put in my resignation papers.
Right.
So that was the first step almost, and it took some time to develop that because if you think about it, if you're working a job right now, and once again, you use that job to pay your bills, and you say, okay, well, how can I make this money? How can I supplement this money? Not only how can I supplement it, but how can I supplement this money and not devote the same amount of time that I'm devoting at the job? Because if you devote the same amount of time, you essentially just switching one job for the next, even
Right.
if you are working for yourself. You
Right.
understand? And some people, depending on their job situation, that may be more conducive. But when we talk about financial freedom, right, we talk about the ability to sustain ourselves, but not have to trade time for money,
Right.
right?
Right.
So,
I think that's what you just said is I always say entrepreneurship is misunderstood. And what I
mm,
mean by misunderstood is sometimes people think when you're pursuing entrepreneurship or even, trying to work for yourself or be your own boss,
mhm,
it can give off an impression that you money hungry or you greedy or things to that nature because all they see is you trying to, make deals and make money and not
mhm,
understanding what you just said. It's about trading, you when we work, we trade in time for money. And the
mhm.
idea is we want to use less time and make more money where we able
Right,
to do things that we want to do. Cause I
right,
mean, I get it because like yourself, like me, and working X amount of time, working hours and spending more time at the job and thing. And in reality, it's like in some cases, some people not making the money. In some cases, people are making the money. But still, like you can't just pick up and go when you want to go. You can't
right,
do certain things. You gotta, make sure you kind of do a little 2, 3 cough and say I'm calling out sick before so you won't get
right,
written out. It's like some like me and you, we don't want that. We want to be able to say tomorrow I want to pick up and go to Las Vegas when I want to. I want
right
to
now,
pick up and say let's go on a cruise and with my family, especially
right,
those who have families. So I think a lot of times people misunderstand the pursuit of entrepreneurship and not really thinking like the money is the byproduct of the work you put behind it, but ultimately it is to get financial freedom. So
Right.
I like that you said that. So now you want to say something else?
Nah, it's just what you said. You gotta put that work into it because the second thing that I think people, so first we supplement the income, right? So we supplement the income, we create another revenue stream. Hopefully that revenue stream doesn't require us to devote the same amount of time, right? And
Hmm.
then the second thing we understand is that unlike a job, so we all, we've worked job, we've been in the workforce. We understand that just as long as I show up and I leave, long as I punch in, I punch out, for the most part, my check will be there. For the most part, some days I may kill it for the company. Other days I may just chill. But for the most part, as long as I show up, something is going to come hit my account weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever your payment schedule is. Entrepreneurship, if you don't, you can show up all day and something may not be there. You can show up for a month, something may not be there. You can show up for 2 months, something may not be there. So a lot of us, we run into fear because that is a very, once again, we all got bills. Consistent bills need consistent money. So in the back of the mind, it's like, yo, what if this doesn't work? What am I gonna do? That's a good question to ask yourself, and this is why the strategy is important.
Right.
What is the strategy? Or do you plan to save 6 months' salary before you exit while also supplementing? This is all things that you got to ask yourself, and all things that you and your family support system, whomever it is that you're directly responsible for, you come into an agreement. Once again, for me, I told my wife it ain't gonna be good for nobody if I gotta work the next 30 years for somebody else. Thank God she was in agreement. She loves her job and her profession, and there have been times when that job has had to sustain us while I was getting things off the ground.
Real talk. Real talk. That's uh that's one thing I didn't have when I jumped into entrepreneurship, uh a strategy. Um and what I mean by strategy, I wasn't really thinking 6 months to 12 months down the road. I was thinking just by bringing in income right now, but I really didn't have that plan in motion because, again, I started off in insurance.
Hmm.
Now I'm into, business consulting and business investing. I never thought 5 years ago this is where I would be at. So
Hmm.
it's like understanding that as well, because the way I look at it too, entrepreneurship is a journey. And one of the things that I learned is, and I'm quite sure you can agree to this, when you out there and you put yourself out there, you network, you be exposed to so many things.
Hmm.
And it's like that's what happened with me when I jumped into entrepreneurship. And I won't even say entrepreneurship at that time. It was more so being a 1099. That's what I would
Yeah.
really would be. A 1099 was a contract licensed, insurance agent working for another company, but I was still working on my own time.
Right.
And leaving a job working, bringing in, a biweekly paycheck to leaving to going to working strictly commission based, it was a challenge. And like you said about your wife, my wife had to hold down the fort until we get this going. Now, granted, I was killing the insurance game. I was running my own office, I was training agents, I was doing my thing, but um, it wasn't for me. I ended up losing passion. So it's like
Hmm.
I had to try, different things. And I think that moment is like another topic we're going to talk about is like doing that from that moment of leaving insurance and then tapping into different arenas to find myself, to find my purpose and my passion.
Right.
Another thing people need to understand, just being transparent, is entrepreneurship has a lot to do with personal development. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
will learn a lot going through the process versus a 9 to 5 job.
Right.
So talking about that, like, have you witnessed through your journey, have you witnessed a lot about yourself that you didn't know about yourself when you pursued this entrepreneurship?
Man, I'm resilient, man. Like yo, I'm a figure it out. Like I just don't know no other way.
Right.
And that can come from upbringing. Upbringing was, like a lot of us that look like us, man, it was tough. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I got my family, I got girls, I got three little girls, man. So it's no such thing as I don't have, or I can't, like, I can't even fathom that, right? So I just go extremely hard to make sure that, we live a certain, just in a certain space, just a certain level of being comfortable, that I like, and I'm quite sure my family likes and appreciates. But we live in Miami, man. It
Right.
costs. I
Yeah.
think they about to start charging for the air. Like, you have to hold on to your breaths, man. It's very expensive to live in the space we live in.
Right.
So I've just learned my level of resiliency, and I've also learned. I put a post up the other day, the ability to pivot, the ability to just call an audible, the ability to recognize the climate and understand that this is what we have to do.
Hmm.
I have Airbnb locations. The travel industry has been going down. The ship has been slowly sinking. So I have to pivot. I have to say, okay, as much as I like to, do the 3 and 4 day rentals, nah, we got to get some stabilized tenants up in here now. We got to pivot. Like, we have to see this and instinctively understand the marketplace, understand our business, understand what's going on, and make the executive decision. So
Right.
that's another thing I wanted to take away from this call. We can't be afraid to make decisions as it pertains to our business. If you know you're not the best decision maker, you need to have somebody that you can consult with,
Hmm.
that you can put your pride and ego aside, take that information, take that advice, and make it applicable to your business. Because it will fail in the blink of an eye if you're not careful, or if you don't make the proper decisions when you need to make the proper decisions.
Yeah, that is true. If the pandemic didn't teach you anything else, it taught you how to pivot, and
Yeah,
it shook a lot of households and made a lot of people uncomfortable, especially those who were comfortable. And to be honest, I believe this is the new norm. I don't think things going to go back the way it used to be.
right.
Um, Things are changing, job industries are changing, businesses changing, everything is just changing. So uh, that is true. You have to know how to pivot, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, because if you're not thinking ahead and you're not looking at the markets and you're not preparing yourself for the what ifs, and to be honest, I look at it like personal finance. Personal finance and business finance is the same. Like it's the same. You always want to have your emergency funds. You want to make sure you budget properly for the what ifs. If your car break down, you get a leak on your ceiling, your microwave don't work. Same thing with a business. And it's sad because of the pandemic, a lot of our small black businesses are suffering. A lot of small black businesses have shut down, over 41%, because not just because of the pandemic, more so because a lot of these businesses already were struggling before the pandemic, and the
Right,
pandemic just put the icing on the cake.
right.
Um, and it's tough, but to shed light to that situation is the same thing happened in 2008. And when the 2008 happened with the market crash and the housing and everything to that nature, again, we had the same outcome where a lot of small black businesses went out of business. But
Hmm.
what happened on both scenarios, 2020 and 2008, you had a higher percentage of individuals, especially blacks and minorities, start businesses out of the
Yeah,
pandemic versus businesses shutting down.
right.
And I think right now, if we didn't learn back then, right now, and I hear you say this all the time about getting in position. And I think if people don't understand that today, like, yes, it's a pandemic. Granted, there are some losses, but there are also some gains. And it's just a matter of what side of the stick you on. But
Right.
if people can understand today, like, how can I position myself? How can I put myself in position? Because at the end of the day, the storm gonna pass over and the sun gonna come out. The
Right.
question is, what are you doing today to be prepared for tomorrow? So I
Right.
think that's key on what you're saying. Um, let's say what was one of your main obstacles besides the pivot, besides the pandemic? What would you say was your biggest obstacle in your journey, from the point of leaving your job to the point of doing what you're doing today? What was your biggest obstacle?
The biggest obstacle is being responsible for other people. I wish I'd be 35 in December. Man, I wish at 25, at 21. I wish when I was on when the only person I had to worry about was me, myself, and I
Hmm.
wish like heck that I knew then what I know now.
Hey, we
And
were talking about that though. I
right,
remember we
right,
was at the house and he was like, "Man, it feel like we too late."
man, like we just like we right there
Yeah,
because the thing about it is, when you it's scripture that talk about that, man. Like foolishness just bound up in the heart of the youth. Like
right,
you can't help but to just be foolish when you're young. Like you
right.
young. You know, the hope is that God has grant you enough grace to where you are mature and you haven't done so much messing up in your youth that you can come up out of that and make the knowledge that you've learned applicable. You understand? So
Mhm.
the biggest obstacle once again has been balancing having to care and provide for others while still trying to establish, create, and do everything that I would like to do with my business. Because, you know, everybody loves the story of Tyler Perry. Slept in his car, blah, blah, blah. So many shows went bad, blah, blah. And then finally, but Tyler Perry, in my opinion, he doesn't go through that phase unless he's alone. Because you can't sleep in the car. I mean, you can, but you would do something to better the situation before you allow yourself and your family to sleep in the car. See, if
Right.
it's you just being a man or just being that woman, like it's
You can
just you.
do it. Right.
You, if I gotta take it, I'll take it. You understand what I'm saying? But to have the loved ones around me have to go through that, no, 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 that's not even possible, right? So with that responsibility, at times it felt as if it was taken away from the ability to build and grow the businesses is harder. But it's like a catch-22 because that same family, those same children, that same spouse, are the motivating factors to keep you pressing and keep you pushing, all at the same time. But that was definitely an obstacle. It's times when you want to spend time with the kids, but you know, business calls. So, and that's just all in balance. But that was I think that was like one of the that and I had to get to a place of understanding that everybody's not going to see it, everybody's not going to believe it. So when you sometimes you excited and you want to tell people, and people have a funny way of just being discouraging. Not that they're even trying to be,
Right.
but because they don't see it, they don't believe it, and you're already afraid,
Right. And they ain't making it
right?
no better.
Making it no better, right? So, um, that was an obstacle at a certain point. Just learning how to just be quiet, just let it manifest, just let it work itself out, and just understand that it's not someone else's fault that they don't see it. They're not hating on you, or they just have a different opinion,
Right.
and that's okay, you
Yeah.
know. So going back to when I first linked up with you and got in your inbox, it was just like, another person
Right.
that
Right.
gets it. We talk the same language. My
Yeah.
friend, what's up? You remember me? Yeah,
Yeah.
man, we cool. You
Yeah.
know, and just getting around like-minded people. That's
That
very important.
that's the key, man. I can't tell you how many times I don't ran into people that's in the same boat, and when they realize we on the same page, it's like a relief. Because sometimes, especially if you don't have family that supports you, it can feel like you on this journey by yourself, and it's like you don't know how to ask for help. There's only so much of YouTube and Facebook you can do. You need that physical contact to actually have that conversation, to talk to somebody, to understand, like, I'm not the only person going through this. And we just had this conversation last week on the live with Katiana. Um, I, I think for the most part we all had our share in that round. Like for myself, it's like, I have a vision on where I know where I'm going at, but
Right.
trying to convince somebody or get somebody to support that vision and they don't see it, it's like, and it could be discouraging because
Yeah.
number one, if you're not strong or concrete on your vision, on your foundation, or what you believe in, you can easily get discouraged. You can
Right.
easily start doubting yourself and make it seem like, did I make the right decision?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, I've been there plenty of times. Like, like, shoot, did I make the right decision? Like, if I'm going the right path? And it's like,
Right.
thank God for my wife. That's my cheerleader. Like, she support me 100, bro. So, and I'm
Yeah.
quite sure, your wife supports you 100. So I think,
Yeah.
for the most part, both of us being married and having them supportive wives, and even on the flip side, those women that's entrepreneurs and have supportive husbands, um, I don't think our support system understand how big that is.
Right.
It helps us sleep at night to know that, okay, I can get up the next day and continue to move forward and continue to grind. So definitely, those some nuggets.
Now let me piggyback off that for a second because I had an
Uh-huh.
interesting conversation with a young lady, and there are going to be some people that hear what you just said, and they'll say, "Well, I'm not married, or I don't have that, and that's why I can't make it. That's why I can't do my business. I don't have anyone supporting." And this is the thing that we have to understand about support. And T, I'm quite sure you can probably understand as well. When you're talking about support, right? You have to be open to accepting the support. In other words, it may not come how you want it to come. I'm the person as it pertains to my wife and I. I'm running through the brick wall. I'm the rabbit, she's the tortoise. And if I'm not careful, right, I can interpret the tortoise as not believing or understanding because I'm just ready to go. And if
Right.
that same enthusiasm isn't there, if I'm not careful, once again, I can misinterpret that. When in actuality, that is this person supporting in the way that they know to support. And there have been times when luckily that tortoise was there to say, slow down, Mr. Rabbit.
Right.
There have been times where luckily that rabbit was there to say, hurry up,
Right.
Mrs. Tortoise. Right?
Right.
So we got to understand that as it pertains to support, you have to be open enough to receive the support. And that openness requires you to put pride to the side, to put ego to the side, to put being stubborn to the side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the support comes and it doesn't look like we wanted to look, we can't revert back and say, well, it's my business anyway. I'm going to do what I want to do. No. Because if it's your business and you can do it all by yourself, then just go ahead and do it all by yourself.
You don't need no support.
You won't get no support. And a lot of the times, if you want to go fast, Mr. Rabbit, you can go by yourself. You want to go far, you got to bring some people with you.
Definitely.
So that's something that we got to be conscious of because once again, support is going to come in a number of different ways, and it may not always come with what you want to hear.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. That's like the same thing as you want advice, but the advice you get and it may not be what you asking for, but it might be the right advice that you need.
Right.
And it works hand in hand. So that's a good point. Support can come in many different forms, and you just have to be open to it.
You
You
got
might
to.
you might want support in money, but you might not need the money. It might be something else. You might need, knowledge, or you might need some type of access to resource, or you might need somebody to say you're doing it wrong
Right.
versus just getting money. So yeah, that is
So
true.
as it pertains to that, what our fellow entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs need to know is you should be in the company of everything opposite of you. You don't need to have 10 other people who think like you, whose perspective is just like yours, I mean, of course, you should have some commonalities amongst one another. And in my opinion, that commonality should just be hard work. If you
Mhm.
want to get down with me, show me you go grind. I kind of
Mhm.
don't really need to see nothing else. But long as you got some motivation, you got a little aggression, especially if you're a male, and you got a little discipline, that's my acronym for MAD, M-A-D. Motivation, aggression, and discipline.
Mhm.
Because you can want to do something, you have to be motivated, right?
Mhm.
And you can be motivated, but you just a little lax. No, you got to be aggressive,
Mhm.
especially if you're a black person. You got to be aggressive.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
sometimes you got to know how to ease it out, and that's when the discipline comes into the equation.
Right.
Because it's a process, man. It's not an overnight thing. But if you can, mix those things together, yeah, we can do some things.
Right. So let's talk about. So you right now you got your barbecue business. You have your credit repair business. And you went to real estate. Um, far as let's talk about the real estate. Like somebody that's right now on this live and they looking to get into real estate. Like that's one of they goals is to be a real estate investor. They just trying to figure how to get plugged in or where to start at. What would be some advice that you would give somebody?
Get your credit right. Get your credit right, man. Um, I mean, unless you just have uh endless supply of money, you're gonna have to borrow money to invest. You're gonna have to borrow money, so you're gonna have to be credit worthy of borrowing money. It's simple, right? Um, so I would tell a person, yeah, get your credit right. You have to put yourself in position. What is position? The ability to take advantage of an opportunity. You can consult with myself. You can consult with T. You can consult with both of us, and I can give you step by steps on how to get in position. It's going to require you to invest. If you don't want to invest a couple $100 with me, somebody that's doing it, I can show you the receipts, right? I'll show you the receipts. Not bragging, but I can show you the receipts. So what you pay for is the ability to not have the same headaches I done had for the past year and a half trying to invest in some doggone real estate. You get to take the elevator. I done took the stairs. That's
Right.
what you for. But if you don't want to make that, and that's a very small investment, I know that you're not going to be ready to pull 60, 70, $80,000 to go to the closing table with. I know you ain't gonna be ready to fund a $30,000, $40,000 rehab. We bought the property, the Airbnb property in November. We were trying to get it ready for Super Bowl. It seemed like it was so long ago, but Super Bowl was just here in January. So we had literally 8, 9 weeks to get that thing together. Man, it was $10,000 going out a week. Every week, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. If you don't want to invest a small piece of money to get some knowledge, then I'm quite sure that real estate
Not
investment
ready.
in Miami won't be for you.
Any investing because you have to acquire the knowledge.
Got
Uh, I can I can say, man, both of us can contest to that, man. It's a lot of times, you hear this stigma where when people do become successful, especially those in the community, um, they feel like because a person became successful, they did the job, they acquire a certain amount of wealth that they entitled to give everything away for free.
right,
And for me, it's like I believe in most, like even me, I'm not going to sit and say I'm a wealthy individual, but there's plenty of individuals that I gave free knowledge to, free information to.
right,
And I
right,
also know that some of the people I gave free information, free knowledge to, did anything with it.
right,
So understanding again, going back to what we originally talked about, trading time for money. So going back to what you're saying, you're not they're not only paying for your knowledge and experience.
right,
Right now on this call, they paying for your time. The time and effort that you put in, like you said, you took the stairs. Now you telling me all I have to do is pay a couple of $100, and I don't skip maybe 3 or 5 years of mistakes that I could have made jumping
Yeah.
into, real estate. And I don't think people have the mindset to even understand that.
Right.
So it's like understanding, like if I put money behind something, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna put some work behind it because I put money behind it. You look
And,
at, go ahead.
and anybody that is consulted with me, I do a Zoom video call. I share my screen with you. We kind of just, it's more so about a strategy. I can't tell how many people I've had get on the call. This one person, I'm talking about, had a checklist, right, of everything they wanted to ask. They realized that after they got to number 2, it was no need to even ask the rest of the questions because those questions would be answered and would be dictated upon their ability to complete the answers to questions 1 and 2.
That's
Right?
crazy.
Like just think about that for a second. Like, I want to invest in real estate. That's the finish line. Now
Mhm.
we have to reverse engineer back to the starting point and develop a plan, develop a strategy,
Yep.
something that says these are going to be the action steps that we take to put ourselves in position. We talk about that all the time in order to be able to accomplish what it is that I'm looking to accomplish. Right.
Definitely.
And it takes time. It takes time. But when you show that you have no problem with making the investment, oh man, it's great. Now I'm welcoming you with open arms, like, hey, we can do this thing together.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? There's always room for us to invest together.
Right.
But if you don't want to make the initial investment in yourself, it's nothing I can do. I can't do anything about that. Like, I can't change. I can't give you the mindset. You got to come with that. That's separate. That
Yeah.
don't come with the package. Remember,
Yeah.
say, such and such sold separately. Like, that's separate. You have to come with the mindset. If you don't have the mindset, it's literally nothing. All the wealth of information that can be given to you, it won't help because your mind has to be there. And you spoke on it earlier. Entrepreneurship is a journey of self development. You
Yeah.
got to develop yourself, and it
Yeah.
starts, up here.
Yeah. It definitely start with the mindset. Understanding credit, understanding, even when we was doing the lives with business credit, even understanding that. And we experienced that ourselves, man, when we educated people on business credit, how if you can invest in that, just in that aspect, it's like, how can you want to be an entrepreneur or want to be a business owner? You want to be your own boss, but you don't want to invest in yourself. That's like, it's like a contradiction. Like it doesn't
Right,
make any sense. It doesn't
right.
add up. So it's
Do
like,
you know, dude? Not to cut you. I'm so sorry.
nah, you good.
Before I forget, so if anybody on this call, Tavares and myself, when I was still working on the beach, came up with this idea to develop the Power of Business Credit Coaching Group. It was a small one-time fee to get into the group. This was way before this whole pandemic. If anybody in that group had taken that information and applied it, anybody, anybody would have taken that information in that group and applied it, they definitely will be in contention for economic injury disaster loan, 150,000, 100,000, whatever they would have gotten. They would have been in position to do that. I've seen people get denied for that loan because they didn't have a website. They couldn't verify this company. What did we yell on the highest mountaintop and say during every teaching? Get a website.
Yeah.
Legitimize the business. Oh, Mr. Finley, I want business credit. I want to build my business credit. It's 2 parts: personal credit, business legitimacy. That's it. That's the foundation. If you can put those 2 things together, you can and you will have access to business funding.
Yep.
Not business credit, business funding. What's the difference? The difference is business credit is vendor accounts.
Give it to him. Give it to
Business
him.
credit, man,
Give it to
business
him.
is credit, just like that. That you, for the most part, can only use with that particular vendor. That's your FedEx, that's your Amazon, That's your Uline, that's your Quill, that's your Granger, that's all that stuff that you can't take nowhere else but other than those places. That's your business credit. That's your stuff that people put online and say no social security number, EIN only. That's that. You talking about some business funding, uncollateralized capital that you can take and use to invest in real estate. Now you're talking about your social security being in place, which means that they're going to pull your personal credit. That's it. A small business is considered a
Uh-oh.
small business when it has,
Uh-oh.
man, man,
Go ahead.
listen,
Uh-oh.
I'm going to stop, man.
Hey, I'm about to say, go ahead and grab pen and
Listen,
paper.
a small business is considered a small business when it has 500 employees or less or 10 million or less in revenue. So if you making $9 million in revenue a year, you're still considered a small business. Why is this important? Because most banks lend 10% of the annual revenue of the company. When you go to do a banking application for some uncollateralized money, let's just say a business credit card, one of the questions you're going to get asked is annual revenue of the company. It's not far-fetched for you to put that the company makes $500,000 a year. It's a prediction. It's stated. Nobody verifies it. Hello. You can put on the app 500,000. The bank lends what? 10%. 10% of 500,000.
Wait.
I tell these people, man.
Wait.
You know how many banks it is?
Wait. Hear me out though. I'm gonna say this on the record. Those are the people who's coming to Darrell right now for consulting. You late. This is just a sneak peek of the information we was giving out in our business credit group. And listen, we was charging people between $50 to $100 one time.
One time.
And I mean every Monday. Every Monday you getting this information. So it's like if Darrell's charging $1,500, I'm gonna back him up with that $1,500 because I've been there. I seen him start from where he started at to where he at now. I know where we was giving out free information, giving out, charging people $50 to $100 for the information that he gave you a sneak peek. He's more outspoken than I am. Obviously, I'm the laid back person, but listen, this is viable.
It's only because, bro, everybody. To be honest with you, T, you a black man doing business. I'm a black man doing business, T.
Yep.
They intentionally box us out, man. I literally have to calm myself down. You understand what I'm saying? When I'm maneuvering, because I see the things that are very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
If the criteria is this is the credit score, this is the amount of revenue, and I meet the criteria, right? The criteria is set so that you can meet it. The criteria determines if you are eligible. I over exceed the criteria. Then we get into words like discretion. Mm-hmm. We get into words like just a decision, was made. We don't feel comfortable. It can't give you anything in black and white.
Right.
But with the credit, if you just in that position, if your position is exceptional, it takes away you being denied.
Right.
In other words, it almost levels the playing field between us and them.
Dude, to be honest, what you said, like I said this the other day with my team, we have to understand, especially as black men, we're born facing obstacles. Like we're born with a target on our back, and we have to work 10 times harder,
right,
to get to that next step. So what you're saying right now to beat the odds in this game, in this game of business, learn personal credit, learn business credit, understand economics, understand how the financial markets work, understand how the stock market work, understand the business cycle, understand your industry. Like we have to put in the work. We have to put in a lot of sweat equity and knowledge and
Yeah.
understanding of the world to get ahead of the game. Because like you said, we can walk into the bank and automatically we can get turned down just based on because I'm black. But
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's harder to turn me down when I got my stuff in order. When
Yeah.
you want to run my credit, oh, I'm A1. You want to
Yeah.
when you want to see documents, I got it. What you got?
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
harder because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, for decades, for history, all they want is our money anyway.
Right.
So now it's like, hey, what you saying is right on the head, bro. Even
And it's not until you experience it that you really
yeah,
realize, like, man, I see why we not. It's not because we lack knowledge. It's not because we lack the ability. No, it is things that are intentionally put in place to box us out.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
That is it.
yeah. It's set up. The system is set up for us to fail.
It is.
And dude, I'll tell you now. I was looking at it's a documentary on Warren Buffett. It's becoming a Warren Buffett. Like that's my arena, right?
Hmm.
So I'm looking at his documentary, and they giving some nuggets in there. They sliding in the how he conduct business and things, right? So ultimately, even when we started teaching about holding companies, I learned that from Warren Buffett. And
Hmm.
when I started learning about holding companies, I'm like, dude, this is a game changer. So it's
Right.
like when we started teaching about holding companies. So the other night when I was watching Warren Buffett, I realized even me investing in stocks, like literally today, I just transferred my TD Ameritrade stock account over to my business account,
Okay.
not realizing how these big boys play. They
Hmm.
don't invest in stocks, whether stocks on the stock market. They don't invest in stocks on a personal account. They do it through the business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now that's how they hedge, losses and stuff like that.
Right.
And all that excess cash that the business make, instead of putting it into a savings account, they put it into an investment account
Right.
and flip that money through option trading. And now that $1,000 can turn into $5,000, and I can take that 5,000, put it back in the business, invest in another.
And write it off. Don't forget the tax breaks.
Because even if the stock market goes down, I could write it off as a loss of my business.
That's it. That's
So
it.
now I have multiple assets under my holding company, just like yourself. You got your credit repair and you got your food truck. Your food truck could be bringing in boohoo money, and instead of you be like, dang, I got to pay tax on it, but your credit repair might not be
Yeah,
making that.
that when they do too good. That when
Now
they do
you
too
can
good.
offset the taxes on the
Yeah.
trucking company.
Yeah.
This is how the game is played. But to
Yeah.
get there, you have to get in position.
We got to get in position. We got to understand. We got to understand what we're doing. I had a young lady, man. She put up a status earlier. She said something that her DUNS number came in. So in the comments, I just was like, okay, what's the plan? And I understand that reading something, it can easily be misinterpreted, right? But nevertheless, she's like, Uline, Granger, some things of that sort. I said, okay. And what are you gonna do, like, with those accounts, right? And I'm waiting for like a reply, but I'm doing my little thing. So I happened to go on Facebook and I saw another post from the same young lady. She was like, if you feel like you have some information that you can give me to help me, then do that. But don't challenge me. That'll get you blocked. So I went back to the comment thread, and our little exchange was erased. So I said, okay, um, well, there you have it. Where you are, I've been. Like, I can, like, really help you. The reason
Right.
for the question was because we have to understand why we're doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of clients, they have all the ingredients. They got the DUNS number, they got the company set up, they got the EI, they have all the ingredients, but they don't have a meal. They can't put it on the plate and serve it. So I have to
Right.
come in as the chef and say, put this here, put that over there, cook that down, put that in here, stir that up, and there you have it.
I
So
like
I
it.
was just trying to understand if she understood exactly what it is that she was doing.
Right.
Do you understand that these things have to be reporting to DMB for you to even furnish a payday score? Do you understand why you're furnishing a payday score? Do you understand why banks use a payday score? Do you understand? So that way you're not wasting time and money doing something because you're ignorant to it. See, so we get so we got to remove the feelings. We got to take the feelings out of the business. You understand what I'm saying? This isn't an emotional roller coaster, right? If someone does have some information for you, you have to be open to receiving it.
Yeah.
Not the enemy. I wanna see you win.
Trying to help you. And
Okay,
sometimes
well, let me
being
go to the friend and I got it. I mean, I don't do Facebook quarrels. Are you crazy? Like, what are we talking about?
right, man. Hey, I don't know if we should keep going because if we keep going, it's gonna turn to one of those Monday lies that we used to do.
Nah, man, I'm with it, man. I mean, as long as people are dialoguing, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm happy you asked me to come on. Um, and once again, the way that monies are being flooded, the way that monies is being flooded into the economy,
Yeah.
you in any kind of position, man, you can really take advantage of some things. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Grants. I mean, there's a lot of grants floating around. I don't show got me a few little dollars on some grants.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
and
Facebook.
even with grants, you got to understand. You got to understand lending. It's a grant, so you don't have to repay it, but you still got to understand. Like once you understand lending, you understand that there are going to be like a core number of questions that'll be asked on any application as it pertains to you receiving money from
Right.
some for your business, and you got to know how to answer those questions. I had one grant that thing say, "Did you get any type of other assistance?" I said, "Yeah." That thing said denied. So you know what that taught me? You know what that taught me? You know what
Obviously.
that taught me? On the next one. I said,
Negative. I ain't
"Yeah,
getting nothing.
we gotta know how to play the game. We can't be scared
And
to
that's
play the game."
and again, what you just said is something valuable. That what people pay for is pay for your experience. Because you know that it's easier for you to coach somebody on how to do it. Because if somebody don't have that knowledge and understand that, the moment they get denied, they quit,
Right.
not knowing that it's a loophole. That's another alternative around that, and that's key. Man, you got Miss Harris, Mama Roxy, you got Bo Hall, Bo. They tearing this chat up. I don't know if you can see it on your end.
It just says Facebook user. It doesn't say like
Oh,
the
okay.
people that's chiming in. And Bo is another one. Bo invested some time with me. Bo invested um on the credit repair side. She was able to go clean up her credit, clean up some people around her credit. I tell people I teach the game. I don't want to do the game. But I teach it to you, right? So we'll sit down. I'm gonna teach you.
You did
You know,
me.
got any questions? Oh yeah, you got the ball head,
You did me. Took it off. I
right?
took it and ran with it. 100-yard dash.
Yeah, hooked your wife up, right? She had to repay you in some services, I assume.
Definitely.
Uh, you know
Had to pay me.
that's right. But that's what it's all about. Each one teach one, right?
Definitely.
And then from that point, going back to Bo, her she had someone who through her reference they booked some time with me, and we had a very edifying consult. So that's just what it's about. You know what I'm saying? That's just really what it's about. And as you spoke on a second ago, who better to get the information from than someone like that's doing it, actively doing it,
Right.
like actively. Like I put a post the other day, man. Don't be having nobody teaching you about business credit that ain't got their own business credit. Are you crazy?
Right.
You got to be crazy. Like
Yeah.
how is that, right?
Yeah. Miss Harris said, I feel like I'm with my family tonight. This had made me happy. Bo
Okay,
said,
shout out to you.
you got me together, man. You know I appreciate you.
Yeah, we go way back. Yeah, we go way back. But that so going back to crowd Wall Street,
Yep.
crowdfunding. If we all in position of pull our things together, pull our resources together, forget a fix and flip. We gonna get the apartment building.
Hey, that is the goal, brother. That
Come
is the
on,
goal.
man. Go get the 50 unit.
Because for decades, for those who on this call, the whole purpose on why I created Crowd Wall Street is for our people to have access, to truly exercise group economics. And again, like you said, once we get this platform fully developed, like you said, now we can go out and find an apartment building, find a hotel, and raise capital right on our platform. And now we can share ownership. I'm gonna give you one key thing that we getting ready to start doing once we launch our equity portion. Just
Okay.
so you know where the mindset is at. Miami-Dade right now is trying to figure out how can they help small black businesses, right? Because black business being affected. But they also understand that a lot of inspiring business owners, they have the passion, they have the wants to get involved in being a business owner, but a lot of them may not really understand how to run a business. And one of the things, and I was reading, one of the things is they were suggesting that they want to start pushing more black inspiring business owners to get into the franchise business. Why? Because the franchise have the blueprint already, right? So it's a way that you could get in, get your feet wet, whatever. I have my thoughts on that, but it's a way you can get
Hey,
your feet
that
wet.
just sound like that. Okay, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah. So, right. So cool. I'm fine with it. If that's the agenda that they're pushing, by all means. You may have some individuals like we have a mother and a daughter that just bought a 7-Eleven.
Right.
You may have individuals that if that's their taste. But the way I'm thinking with Crowd Wall Street with my platform is just think of this. This is how I'm thinking. If we can buy a Wawa, right? And let's just say in Miami Gardens, we buy land, raise capital, we buy land and put a Wawa there, right? So let's just say me and you, we decided to join forces and buy a Wawa, and now we own Wawa in Miami Gardens.
Right.
We come on Crowd Wall Street, raise whatever that capital may be. Let's just say we raising $200,000 to operate or to build that Wawa. What Crowd Wall Street does, the equity portion does, is now we can get everybody in the community to contribute to that $100,000.
Right.
Now we raise that $100,000 on our platform. We go ahead and get Wawa up and going. We operate Wawa. Guess what? Everybody that's in the community and outside the community is fully invested.
Right.
So guess what people going there to get gas? Wawa. Guess what they're gonna buy them hot dogs?
Right.
Wawa. Why? Because the more successful we become, the more successful our community come. So just thinking that aspect, imagine now when we talking about us coming together to buy apartment buildings, us coming together to get a hotel,
Right.
buying a laundromat,
Right.
buying all these things, right?
Right.
Even taking it a step further and creating a funnel where now we're connecting in Africa, because now Africa is in Ghana is developing. I'm giving y'all too much, but they developing over there in Ghana. Just so y'all know that. But that's the whole idea of group economics, bro. So basically, like what you're saying is, if you wanna go fast, go along. But if you want to go far, come together as a group, and that's pretty much what Crowd Wall Street is creating a platform where now we can have easier access to funding to carry out deals.
Man, T, so because I know you, on a personal, man, like I know you can do it, but I'm scared for you, man. They up there, J. Morrison, the new one up there with that.
Right. Listen.
They up there.
All right. Listen, bro.
They up there going in on my main man, man.
Listen. Real quick. I knew that was going to happen with you, man. Normally I'll stop that at an hour. All right. Real quick.
Last 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes.
Real quick. The number one problem with the Jay Morrison situation is communication. I don't think he properly communicated how a fund should work. That's number one. So the people who don't really understand investing expecting a return tomorrow. But
Right.
when people asking questions and the questions not getting answered, that can become a problem.
Right.
Now, if you don't understand business, just like investing in stocks, you got people who do option trading, but you got people who invest in stocks for the long term, right?
Mm.
For you to completely understand how to invest in stocks, you have to know how to understand how to read companies. You have to understand how to read financial statements. You have to
Right.
understand what a cash flow statement is. You have to understand what a balance sheet is. You have to understand all this stuff, right? And the problem is what we're doing, Crowd Wall Street, we're not managing people money. That's number one. Jay Morrison, he's managing people money. And mismanaging and commingling funds where you're using the money that's in the fund to pay other things or other businesses that Jay Morrison owns, it becomes a conflict because now you're using our money to fund your other businesses versus buying real estate deals that you said you was going to buy. That's a
Mm-hmm.
problem. Then on top of that, as a fund manager, especially that's your first fund, you don't pay yourself $500,000. You don't do that. Like literally, this man is paying himself $500,000. Anybody that runs a fund that manage people money, especially for the first time, the highest they charge as far as management fee is either 0.75, high is 1%.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? So
Right.
if you look at the financial, not to get into details because everything is allegedly, but
Right.
me personally, I understand that industry. I understand that business. I understand how to read financial statements.
Right.
And when you look at his financial statements, it don't make sense. It don't add up at all. And that's why a lot of people is upset. And there's a lot that go behind that. But I can assure you, Crowd Wall Street do not roll like that. I don't play that. And
Oh, play that.
hey, we don't play that. But definitely yeah, this
So,
is not.
I had a friend of mine was actually working up there, and he said something to me that just made so much sense in the world. And I want to share this with you because what he said to me was they were trying to communicate to Jay, like, listen, you kind of don't want to be targeting the $500 people, right? Like you kind of don't, because them the people that's giving the more hoorah. Once again, like you just said, people that understand investing understand that you ain't just finna get no dividend and no return and no XYZ and nah, it just doesn't work like that. The money has, first of all, the money has to be put to work. That's the first thing, and then it takes some time for the returns to take place. But with that being said, and as it pertains to crowd Wall Street, and I mean, you know, man, you and your team, I mean, I know y'all got this stuff together. I just don't want you to have to come bomb me out because somebody talking crazy about my man, and now you got to go put back on a karate suit and all
Hey,
that stuff, man. You
listen,
know, I
I,
just want it to be all right,
you
man. I
already.
ain't got
I'm.
time for that.
I'm. Hey, nah, we ain't worrying about that. We good.
All right, cool. All right. Say less. Say less.
I'm already getting heat from white people, man. Already, you seen it.
What was the deal with that guy, man? I'm
That
like,
man
what's
say.
going on,
That
man?
man say you black folks think you doing something. I'm like, wow, you seem pretty upset.
Yeah, he was upset. But no,
Hey,
I
man.
love it, man, because it's super hard to and I've even been trying to partner with some of the local banks here. I'm like, and I haven't brought any new. I got a pool house I'm finna get only because people been asking me about having a house that they can rent for like pool parties. Um, but I'm not even looking to like buy more real estate until I have a stable source that will fund these deals. Like
Right,
I can't go through the headache of being as in position as I am to still be confronted. Even the deal that you worked on, for the Airbnb, the deal you worked on. You remember how they kept coming? Tavares worked on the deal with me. He'll tell y'all we supposed to close on the property Friday. Them people called us Thursday
yeah,
and just said they couldn't do it.
yep,
It had nothing to do with my positioning. It
Nope.
had nothing to do with my credit, my lack of finance. It had nothing to do with anything other than we just can't do it for y'all niggas.
Yep.
That's all it was.
First hand experience. I don't even mess with Buddy no more.
First hand experience, man. These people waiting to the day, but and if you know about real estate, you know, like if you don't meet your closing date, if they don't give you an extension, they can keep what's called your earnest money deposit. I think my earnest money deposit on that property it was like $5,000 that I could have lost. Now I have to find funding in 24 hours for something that
Right.
was already. We was kind of just like laid back, like yeah, we closing. We're gonna get the property Friday. Appreciate it, T. We just can't do it. What do you mean you just can't do it? What are you talking about? And that's how they
Right.
handle us, man. That's
Yep.
how they handle us. So to have a crowd Wall Street, um, you know, alleviate that problem to where we can keep everything right here amongst us and
Mhm.
we can FUBU the thing fuzz by us. I'm like, hell yeah, man, I'm with that.
Definitely. Definitely, man. So we're gonna wrap it up, man, because I know we can go.
Nah,
Um,
I'm hungry now.
listen, for those who chiming in and don't know who Mr. Finley is, go ahead and follow him on Instagram at Mr. Darrell Finley. Anything that you need as far as real estate, education, credit repair, he's your guy. Um, go to him. For business credit, everything, go to him. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
go to
like, oh, you know how hard it is for our people to come. Who that is? That comment.
Bo. She was saying she said, you know how hard it is to come together with our people as soon as you state a price over minimum wage, we back away. Hell, I have so many people that came to me about Finley and I gave them his starting price and they back away. So we
Oh,
don't
that's
like to
fine.
invest in ourselves and our people, but quick to pay the other people. Of course. She hit it right on the head. And I tell you, people who come to United late.
Man, you know how many people? You know how many people business I don't even take. Like you know how many people I can literally have a 5 minute conversation. Where I'm like, oh nah, you gonna be a headache.
I stop.
Nah,
Like
I don't. Nah, I'm
I
cool.
stop. Uh,
I exit up out of those type of things real fast. Like, because it's a partnership, and nah, I don't think this partnership would be a good fit. So yeah. T,
definitely.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
man.
I gotta get online right now. I gotta make my initial deposit into into the fund here into what's going on.
Nah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about it. We got some other plans. We're gonna talk about it. Um, but definitely, yeah, we'll chop it up. So for those who, um, hey, share this video. I hope y'all got some great nuggets. This will be on YouTube as well. Um, so until then, we'll see you guys next Wednesday with another live, and we out.
Yes, sir.